Hey, fuckers. Welcome to the Ethereal Experience podcast. I'm here with Heterodox Hippie,
Yo.
and I am Indigo God, Johnny, my nigga Jay. Today we're going to be talking about emotions and our opinions on emotions and how powerful and controlling they are. It's going to be a good one.
For
I'm
sure.
glad you tuned in.
I guess, we're going to begin off with our own beliefs on kind of emotions, our standpoints on them, how we, I guess you could say, feel about emotions. So, to me, they're nothing more than like a fleeting experience, If you've been alive for like 20 years, you've probably been through the whole spectrum of emotion many, many, many times. Like, I don't know anyone that hasn't experienced at least a multitude of emotions in one day. Like, even on a so-called sad day, there is a glimpse of happiness. There's a glimpse of kind of
hmm
joyfulness, playfulness. It's not like these things are set in stone. They're coming and going like as fast as your thoughts or as fast as people in your life that you're walking past on the street. They they are completely beyond any kind of static state. Like they're they're temporary as fuck. Like if you
Yeah.
by the time you actually begin to observe an emotion, it's pretty much already past, and then the observing of the emotion itself is changing the emotional state. So how we can allow these very very temporary kind of situations to define and rule our life is completely beyond me.
I don't honestly get it. Like, people are they get so angry, things sets them off, and they get carried away and lost in that emotion, and that emotion ends up controlling them, their actions, their words, and then 10 minutes later, the the anger cessates, and they end up regretting what they said and what they did, and they blame it on the emotion when it's the lack of control they have over their emotions. And people say, "Oh, it's inhuman, it's unhuman, like to be able to control your emotions." That's how I think of it. I don't know. It's just when people are like, "How are you so calm and collected about everything?" It's just I really don't care that all that much. I'm not gonna. I mean, I care about you and other people, and but situations that seem unpleasant, I'm not gonna care too much. I'm just gonna take it into some consideration and just whatever. Just I might share my thoughts on it, but I won't be too passionate about it to the point where I get mad or get sad or whatever. Just I don't like to be too extreme about emotions. It's just unhealthy for me and everyone around me, whether it be good or sad. Because I mean, your emotional state does radiate, and people feel that. So if you're neutral, people will emit their own vibe, whether it's good or bad. Even though I'm against polarity consciousness, there is good or bad to everybody, whether it be different to everyone else. Like I think it is. I have no clue, man. Just share
Well,
my
yeah,
thoughts.
I think when you're taking a very neutral stance to things, it does allow
Mm,
people to kind of be aware of their own emotional state. Because
yeah,
I mean, I'm quite empathic, so I go around, and if I allow myself to, I can quite easily kind of get absorbed into other people's emotions.
mm,
But learning to control that and learn to control my own emotional state were pretty much, two sides of the same coin. Once I was able to kind of dictate, not dictate how I felt, but actually be able to stand back and observe my own emotional state, other people's emotional states kind of stopped being so, I guess, intense to me. I can really stand back and go, like, okay, I'm feeling this, but I'm aware I'm feeling this, so I don't need to let it, completely fuck up what I'm doing.
yeah,
So if I get like mad and I go off and I have a rant or someone, I like start insulting someone or something. That's me. That's not the emotion. That's not anything that I can blame other than myself, because I don't have a handle on what it is that I'm doing. And it's, people tend to say, okay, like, you can't control emotion. Well, you can't. Like, you can't control what emotion you're feeling.
Hmm.
From a realistic standpoint, you're not gonna be able to say, right, I'm happy and be happy. You can say you're happy and pretend you're happy, and you can
And
like,
that's what a lot of people do.
you can say, hey, like, yeah, I'm all happy. Convince yourself you're happy, and then 10 minutes down the line, suddenly break out in tears, or maybe 10 months down the line, you realize that actually everything you've been doing was completely fake because you didn't want to feel sadness, or because you didn't want to feel regret, or if you didn't want to feel this or that. And what I'm saying is, you can't control it, because no matter what you run from or whatever you pretend you are, it's still going to catch up to you. It's still going to be felt. It's just going
Hmm.
to be worse in the long run. But then on the flip side, you can control emotion because you can have a handle on what it is you do with that emotion. So when it comes to anger, anger is like the purest form of passion. It is something that could motivate you to well, like anger could motivate someone to kill someone. That is the truth.
Yeah,
There are
and I knew
people that get
some.
angry.
I know someone listening to this will take it to that extreme and say, "Well, anger encourages or controls terrorists and makes them blow up buildings, and suicide bomb." Like, no, stop taking shit to the extreme. Really, stop.
There's no need to. I mean, like, anger can push someone to kill another person,
Oh
but
yeah,
is that anger, or is that the person reacting to anger? In my opinion, it's them reacting to anger. It's not the emotional state saying, "Hey, yo, let's go
likewise.
kill someone." Emotions don't do that, because emotions aren't you. You react to emotions. You experience emotions. You don't let the anger actually have an action. It can't physically control you
Yeah,
unless you let it.
you aren't the emotions.
That is a pretty key point, actually, that we tend to skip over.
Yeah.
Emotions aren't us. Like, they really aren't. They're just something we feel.
And like you said, people could go from acting happy, avoiding sadness or whatever, or being unhappy, to 10 minutes later crying and bawling. And but that's the thing. That's what being human and being alive is all about. I mean, obviously take control of emotions, but don't fucking be don't cut yourself off from experiencing the emotions.
Exactly. Don't reject them.
Yeah, like that's what life is all about, experiencing the array of emotions. You're not supposed to just be neutral all the time and just have no passion towards anything, because sadness is passion. Madness and anger is passion. They both are the same fucking thing. Like you said about anger. Anger is the highest form of being passionate about something, whatever that is, and so is sadness. I mean, like when you see those sad commercials with dogs on them that have been abused and starved, like that don't have food or whatever, we get sad about that shit because we care. And those African children, we get sad because we care and we're passionate about that. But there's not much we really can do. So life is beautiful, and
Cool.
experience the array of emotions. Just don't let them fuck your day up and fuck your life up. You just
I
gotta
agree.
embrace them and turn that sadness, find the silver lining and create the silver lining. But yeah, just go with the flow, man. Whatever happens, happens for a reason, whether you understand it or not. there's some cosmic plan to it, and the emotional spectrum is beautiful in its own fucked up way, in my opinion.
I I recently got kind of, I wouldn't say attacked because attacked would imply like viciousness to it, but I did
Yeah.
recently get approached. So I was speaking of the neutrality, the beyond polarity consciousness. Beyond happy and sad, beyond good and bad, beyond right and wrong. And they said, yeah, let's just take the highs and lows out of life. And I think, because people associate emotions so much with themselves that they believe if you stop reacting as intensely to emotions that these up and downs disappear. That's really not the case. What I promote when it comes to happiness, sadness, whatever, is to realize they are all a progression of the other. If you're happy, you will inevitably, there is no avoiding it, you will be sad at some point. Because happiness and sadness are the same fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're angry, you're going to be calm eventually. You can't always be angry. You can't be angry forever. You're going to eventually calm down. They all lead to each other. I'm not saying take away the whole highs and lows of it all. I'm saying learn to react in a manner that doesn't allow the emotion to dictate who and what you are. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy, I can go about my day. I'll go about my day the same way that I'll go about my day if I'm sad. What would change is maybe I'll be thinking about some different things. So if I'm sad, I'm trying to figure out what the cause of this sadness is, or how I can remedy this sadness. If I'm happy, I'm thinking, okay, what's making me happy? What's happened in my life that has now brought this emotional state into it? I'm not completely disconnected from the emotion. I embrace the emotion, I feel it, and I
Mm-hmm.
love feeling every emotion. But what I'm doing is I'm taking a step back and I'm observing the emotion and I'm questioning the emotion, because being happy without knowing why you're happy is just as pointless as being sad over something you can't control. Like, you're not learning anything from it. And I don't know, I guess a lot of people either go one extreme where they completely allow the emotion to control them, or they shut off from all emotions. And what I like to do, I guess, with
View the
everything in my life,
emotions and just.
is walk down the path in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Not be the emotions, observe the emotions, but allow the emotions to be in my experience.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean, dude. Just but past polarity consciousness is just neutrality.
Yeah,
But that
but
that would be like kind of sad though if people actually took it so far, which people have the tendency to do, is just make something extreme and just take it to the extreme. Wouldn't life be kind of boring though? Like if it was like that,
I think
if we
uh,
actually just cut ourselves off from emotions, like disconnected ourselves from feeling the emotion rather than just observing the emotion, when you should do the both simultaneously. Like, and that's what comes back to polarity consciousness too.
I
Like
think the
we can't.
misconception of polarity consciousness is that it's not it doesn't take away anything. When you go beyond polarity consciousness, you're not taking anything away, you're bringing the two together.
Yeah, it's
But
just people view it. They view neutrality in a polarity too.
exactly.
Ain't that some shit? You could feel the polarity. I mean, you could observe the emotion, but you can't feel the emotion. It's one or the other, bro. It's black and white. Like,
Exactly.
no, it's not. You're supposed to view it, observe the emotion, then feel it, but control how you interpret the emotion and respond to the emotion. You don't just disconnect yourself from it. You have to embrace it. Whether it's disturbing for a fucking reason. You need to learn something from that disturbing emotion, but you don't need to let that wreck your day, and then after it wrecks your day, you wreck other people's day. No, that's bullshit. You need to march to the beat of your own vibe.
I
Fuck other people's vibe. Don't let them control your vibe. And don't control other people's vibe. I hate that word though. Why am I saying vibe so
same.
much?
I guess what ties in with polarity consciousness or the transcendence of it is oneness. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like along with polarity consciousness or the transcendence of polarity consciousness, there is the misconception of oneness as well. And when it comes to kind of oneness beyond polarity, you're not you no longer identify with one side or the other. So I know a lot of people like to say, we're both wrong and no, we're all right or we're all wrong, or we can't know. This kind of shit. It's when you really fully understand what oneness is, you realize that there is no right and wrong. Like,
Mm-hmm.
right and wrong are just polar concepts. If you're right, there is the inevitableness that someone has to be wrong. Or if you're wrong, someone has to be right, kind of thing. And it goes way, way beyond that. Like, so beyond that I can't begin to explain it. Because if you go beyond, if you truly embrace oneness, you realize that nothing is right or wrong. There is
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Whatever someone thinks simply is. There is no more to be expanded upon or labeled upon or explained in that. The thought is the thought. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just a thought. Or the concept, is completely beyond any kind of polarity. It's completely removing and stripping away this need to identify as right, wrong, good, bad, happy, sad shit. As I said before, like, happiness and sadness are the same thing. They're just so intimately entwined that you can't have one without the other. And if you can't have one without the other, they're not two different things. They are one thing experienced in two different ways. So instead of black and white, it really is just one long continuous spectrum of grey. Like, one grey is maybe one end of the grey is light and the other is dark, but they're still grey and they're still the exact same thing. They're just
Dressed up differently.
exactly. And because of this incessant need that we have as human beings for whatever fucking reason to place a label on everything, we've kind of lost sight of the true nature of everything, really. Like, we've placed divisions absolutely everywhere. We've said that happy and sad are two different things. They're not. They're the same thing. They're just two different sides.
Mm-hmm.
Or right and wrong. They're conceptual. They have no real definition to them. If
Yeah.
something's right, it's in the eye of the perceiver that determines it's right. Or if something's wrong, again, it's in the eye of the perceiver. It's if nothing was right, nothing would be wrong because we couldn't differentiate between the two. So what I'm saying is, to really understand the nature of transcendence of polarity consciousness, you really need to look at everything as what it really is, which is the exact same thing experienced differently.
Damn, just kind of blew my mind. But this dude yesterday. All right, so the group I hang out with, they all label they this people have how people have labels for everyone else, like, oh, you're that guy or you're that chick or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So we label them. I don't whether it be like you're the douchey jock or you're the fucking slut or whatever. And this dude is like, I can't label you. Like, you're so neutral about everything. It's hard to place you. And I'm like, that's
Good.
exactly how it should be. because they literally rip on each other so hard. It's just kind of offends me, you know. Like
Yeah.
they're telling this dude to kill himself
Shit.
in a joking manner, but still, like, come on, you don't say that shit. Can we all just not chill and have a good conversation rather than talking about the next iPhone or the next piece of technology that's gonna fucking take over our lives, like the last one? But come on, man, it's just when you're neutral about things, it's great because nothing really offends you that much. You don't take things personally anymore, and it's beautiful.
I agree.
It's
I
just like,
completely agree.
even if it's your family, like, obviously you take it with a grain of salt, but you got to examine that. You got to examine the emotion. You got to examine the emotions you're feeling or you're experiencing. Same fucking thing. But, yeah, polarity, consciousness, and emotions, no, those don't go well together. And oneness, like you were saying, I don't know, man. I'm still high and drunk from last night.
It's all good. What you were saying about what people saying not affecting you, I can really relate to that because
It's great.
I think after I really found myself and
Mm-hmm.
I stopped being something that people expected me to be, or I stopped being something that people wanted me to be, or I stopped being what, I thought I had to be, and I just started being who I truly was. There
Yeah.
was no need to put effort into something I already was. I didn't become.
Mm-hmm.
I just took away what had been added over time, and I just started being, what I really was. And
Yeah. Like, I stripped away the conditioning and took myself back to the simplest form of who I am, which is a human. Like, I'm not gonna
yeah,
say, oh, I'm white, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, I'm a nerd, I'm a jock, or whatever. No, no, fuck all that crap. You're a human. You don't need to add those labels that divide us and conquer us. All you
I
need to
agree.
do is just figure yourself out, then you figure out everyone else and say, hey, everyone else, even though everyone else does have different opinions and perspectives on things and different feelings towards things, it's just all of them are not concrete. They are just what they want. That's just the reality they want to create for themselves,
Perceptual.
the image they create for themselves. And not trying to sound like a dick, but fuck that image of themselves. Forget about it. Don't take it seriously. Just literally just hear them out. And when people are like, why don't you try to, like, people are so passionate about music or sports or anything, like, and they say, oh, you don't like Workaholics? Bro, you gotta watch Workaholics. You gotta see this episode, man. How can you not like Workaholics? No, fuck that. If they
Is
want, like, let it happen organically. If they're gonna end up liking Workaholics, they will end up liking whatever you want them to like. Just let it happen, man. They could watch Workaholics or they could listen to this type of music and like it. Don't like
exactly.
let them do it on their own terms. Just and people hate that about me is that I'm just neutral. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna try to convince you to do anything you're already reluctant to doing. I'll let it flow organically. It's supposed to be that way.
I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen whether
If
or
it
not.
doesn't, oh fucking well. I don't care if you don't like that. I do. That isn't. It's not all about me. It's like I'm helping you there. We had to avoid that dumb, ignorant, mindless conversation about, oh man, you got to get into this, dude. It's the best. All the other guys like, I don't think it's the best, and that's where it should end. The end.
Exactly. I
Just
mean,
be neutral and be chill and just enjoy life and just find yourself. Because then at that point you understand how everyone else is.
and
That's how I
once you
see it.
kind of find yourself and you start being who you truly, not even who you want to be, but just who you are, then you kind of find this security in
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And when people kind of come out and they criticize and they say, hey, like, you're not this, you're not that, why are you saying this, why are you saying that, that kind of shit, or they try and insult you or whatever, you can just sit there and you go, you know what, all I'm being is exactly who I am. All I'm showing you is exactly what I have to show. Stop trying to, place these labels upon me, and maybe you'll stop trying to find things to conflict with me, because I'm there, like, I'm there above that bullshit. You could call me whatever the fuck you want, and it wouldn't in the slightest phase me, because I'm not trying to be someone. I'm really not trying to be anything. I'm just being me, and once you're being yourself, that's it. Like, whatever someone else has to say on the matter is just okay. That's cool. I
Yeah.
don't care. And it's like
People hate
I
that shit. They're like, you're a dick for not caring. I'm like, what? No.
and I mean, it doesn't. It's not even just insults. When I get compliments as well, like, okay, I'll like say, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it, and I do appreciate, some kind words. But at the same time, all I'm being is me. I don't need a compliment, and I don't need an insult. I don't desire any of them, because it's for me, and who I'm being is me, and that's about it. Complimenting me for being me is like complimenting water for flowing, or complimenting grass for growing. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm just being me. So why you're complimenting that is kind of, it's not something that I can easily get my head around. I mean, at the same time, I do feel the desire to compliment other people, so I understand why people compliment, but then when it comes back to me,
I
I'm
know
like,
when people compliment people, man. Swear to God, like, when people insult people, it's obvious why they insult people. Same thing for complimenting. Like, if someone's having a really shitty day and they're just mad at everything and they've been completely taken down another level, and they say, hey, you're ugly as fuck. No, that's just their own feelings at that
yeah,
exact moment. No one's gonna say you're beautiful or you're awesome, you're funny when they're in a shitty mood ever. It just doesn't add up, and it's just not true. So I don't take like you said, I don't take compliments seriously. I don't take it to heart. I don't take it to the ego. It's just I'm just like, thanks, dude. And they're like, oh, you don't sound too happy about me saying that. No, it's just no big deal. Like, I know what I am.
there's
Like,
not much more to be
yeah,
said on it, is
yeah.
there?
They're just like, you're arrogant, and I'm like, what? How am I arrogant for not taking that compliment to heart? And being like, oh my god, thank you so much, or whatever. I don't fucking know, man. It's just, it pisses me off how people just say these words and expect the most emotions out of someone else. Like, come on, dude. You can't define yourself off of someone else's compliments
Exactly.
or criticism. You can't.
I guess it goes to like the mirrors, the law of mirrors, or whatever
Like,
you want to call it.
like a
And
matter
it's,
is a mirror.
yeah, everyone and everything shows you something about yourself, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So when someone's speaking and they're complimenting you, they're not complimenting you. They're seeing themselves within you, and they're complimenting it. And I guess, I, I guess that's kind of why I try to stick away from compliments in a way. Like, if someone's done a really good job, I will say, you've done a good job. But that's because it's something tangible that I can actually observe.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's written something really good, it's like, hey, that's a really good piece of writing. Or if someone's, they've expressed a thought and they've worded it well and it's made sense and it's logical and sensical, and it makes you think, then I'm like, hey, that was like a really good, whatever it was. Maybe it was a tweet or a short story or a poem or whatever. And I'm
Like,
like,
oh,
hey, that was really good.
that little passage you sent me from, not passage, but paragraph you sent me from your book. I was like, that's really good. And
Exactly, because it's tangible,
yeah,
and you don't see yourself in it. You read it,
yeah,
and it's something you can actually observe without placing yourself within it. But when you're actually complimenting how someone is, it's not really the same story, is it? Like, you're just seeing you.
Yeah, man, I completely agree, and that's what people don't understand and don't want to embrace. I don't like to say anything's the truth, but that is the truth. Because people usually take truth too far. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, I try to explain this to people, and it's so simple, but yet so profound when you tell this to people that really have an open mind and actually want to learn something that they're not so conditioned to be accustomed to knowing. It's just like, hey, if someone calls you beautiful, they're in a great mood and they feel that way about themselves. It's just, whenever you compliment somebody, it's them throwing that at you, but it bounces off the wall. Like, it's like a racquetball. You just hit it and then it comes right back to you. Like, that's it. It's just a reflection of one's emotional state. And people really don't embrace that matter is a mirror, and we are all reflections of each other in some sort of way. So it's just
Yeah.
be neutral, and you won't have to do that. You could just chill and have an awesome state of mind
I think,
and never be affected by other people's emotions in a negative manner. So if someone says, "Hey, you're a piece of shit," and you're like, "What?" Don't even say what. Be like, "Okay." They'll hate you. They will hate you for that. But you'll be like, "I don't give a fuck." Unless you're an actual piece of shit.
yeah.
If you're a shitty person, then I hope it says something to you. Like, wait, am I a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Think about that. But if you've done nothing but try to help other people not have the need to have other people define them as good, and that's what people do. They chase $1 million for fucking the acceptance of themselves from other people. They don't they base their reality and their own definition off of other people, the approval of other people. That's what I meant. But yeah, it's just messed up, man. Like, you are you for a reason. That's exactly why you're yourself. Like, I'm Johnny, you're Jay. Do what the fuck you want to do. Think what you want to think, and don't think for other people. Don't think I'm gonna do this so I can have your approval and be liked by your people and be accepted by your group. No, that's bullshit. You be yourself, and people will love you, and people will hate you for being yourself, not adding some false image to who you are.
Yeah. And,
Just being who you are, not the whole I am philosophy, which I do not like also. I am. No, no, you are whatever the hell your name is and however you've been raised or whatever, just or however you're thinking right now, because presence is power over everything else. Presence is power. Remember that. But still, it's ridiculous. Like, I talk to my parents and other people, coworkers, all that shit, and how are you so chill about everything? I don't care. I really don't. I'm here to do work. I'm not here to make friends. I'm literally here to do work. You're all old and you're all backwards anyways. I hear you gossiping, and it literally offends me. You're friends with someone 1 minute, and then as they walk away, you start talking shit about them. Come on, be real. Like, when people are like, "Oh, why aren't you talking to me? I don't like you. That's why I'm not talking to you." You're a dick. No, I'm not. I'm honest. Well, if honesty is not likened in this fucking era or ever, then fuck me, man. Come on.
yeah.
Don't be fake. That's just the truth. Do not be fake. If everyone was real, alright, all the world's problems and all of your problems are due to a lack of clear and honest communication. That's why. That's how I see it. I don't know about you, but the lack of clear and honest communication is the result, is exactly why we're in this paradigm.
Yeah, I mean,
That's how I see it. Because everyone's just lying. They're just lying about everything.
I think, I mean, part of it would be, I guess, people not wanting to admit that what they see in others is them. Like, I guess that would be one part of the massive problem because they
I
seem to
really don't
think
think people are conscious of that, honestly.
they're
They
not.
don't. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like they have to awaken to that truth first. And a lot of people don't want to do that.
I mean, I
We
can understand
the
why.
I know, right? That's a fucking weird truth to realize. Like the illusion of separation has become a truth to them, and that needs to be evanescent.
I agree. Uh,
And yeah, like once you realize matter is a mirror, life becomes better for you and everyone else. You say, hey, if I project this energy onto that person, I will also feel that energy because we are one. The illusion is not a reality, is not the truth, and is not concrete. It is just a concept, an abstract. It's just, it is, but
I
it isn't
recently came to
at the same
realization on
time.
this.
I've thought this forever. Like, I've never been, like, kind of an asshole person.
Oh
I've
no,
never
I
been
meant
that, like,
like on oneness itself. I came to like a
oh, yeah.
quite a heavy realization on it. It
It's
was
mind blowing. Like, I'm not very social, to be honest. Like, people are like, I'll always talk to them. But a lot of people don't understand my mindset. Just
yeah.
it's kind of it's aberrant to say the least, and a lot of people don't even know what aberrant means. So look it up. Uh, yeah, it's just I'm just neutral. I've had a lot of things like you are, and that's why we're homies, and we're gonna have a studio in Amsterdam and take this to the next level.
Exactly, man. That's the plan.
That's gonna happen, bro. Unless we
It's gonna
die off or
happen.
something.
We've thought about it more than twice. We've already manifested it.
It's yeah, dude.
But I
But
think I realized that oneness goes far, far, far beyond what people think it does. So when we
it's a
kind of
hard
think
concept to
we're all
grasp.
one, when we all think like, okay, I'm one, you're one, we're the same thing kind of thing. I think people think that somehow detracts your individuality from the equation, which it doesn't, because if we're all one, we don't have to be one and the exact replica. If you think about it, like the ground that my feet are on right now, the chair that I'm sitting on right now, you where you are right now and whatever you're
On the
sitting on and everything like
bed,
that,
man. This mattress.
and ourselves, we're all made up of the exact same thing. The exact same thing. And it's just arranged differently. It's the same thing. It's all energy that's just been combined a little differently. And is that to say that we're not all energy? Well, no, we all are. It's inescapable. We all are. And
Yeah.
if we're all the same exact thing, and yet we're all completely different individual expressions of this one thing, how can we say that individuality and the interconnected nature of everything, of oneness itself, is the exact same? It's not. I am not the source. I am source. I'm not one source. I am source. Like,
Yeah.
I am everything.
And I know
I am the
exactly what you're saying.
fractal nature of everything in existence portrayed as one being. You are the source. No, you are source, not the source. You are source, portrayed as one being. And we all hold the exact same potential to be absolutely everything because we are a fractal of source. We're not the source, we're not a source, we are a fractal of source. Like, we are the entire source in one thing. Like,
Yeah,
and to me,
I know what you're saying, bro.
it's like a
I know what
seed
you're saying.
from a plant, you know? The seed falls from the plant. That seed has the entire information to grow into the plant. But it's not the plant itself, is it? It's a seed from the plant. Once that seed grows into the plant, does that mean that it's completely disconnected from the plant? No, it's not disconnected from the plant. It is the plant. You know, it's become its own plant, and that doesn't make it disconnected from the plant it came from. It makes it the plant. It's the exact same genetic DNA makeup or whatever you want to call it of the fucking plant itself. So when we talk about oneness and everything being one, everything is one and everything can be individualized at the exact same time because it is all one and it is all from the exact same thing. It all has
Mm-hmm.
the exact same potential to be everything. It's just not expressed in a manner that would, I
Benefit
guess,
humanity.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's a misconception that people think we have to be this one massive hive mind for us to be the source because that doesn't have to be the case. Like, you don't have to view it that way. It doesn't have to be that we're all one and that means individuality suddenly disappears. We can be
Yeah.
one and individual and they can
I mean,
coexist completely together.
oneness doesn't cessate individuality. It still remains, whether you want it to or not. It's still there. Because some people, a lot of people do want that. Some people don't. Like, I don't know who doesn't, but some people do, I'm sure.
A lot of people can't, like, get their head
Yeah.
around it. That's why they fear it.
This is a fucking hard concept to grasp for a lot of people for some odd reason I can't understand. I mean, I understand why, but I really don't in the depth that they do. It's just an underlying fear. Like when I say we're all one, they're like, "What?" Like I was asked by some kid in the ninth fucking grade 4 years ago, over 4 years ago. I would be the kid at the lunch table. I would be the one that that sparks deep conversations and deep thoughts about religion or God or something crazy like out of this world, like not some bullshit talking about the Jersey Shore or Teen Mom or all this stupid shit that does not matter. And they'd be like, and some overly religious kid would ask me, and I'm not saying that like I don't like religious people. That kid that asked me that question was really overly religious, and he's like, "What do you think God is?" And I was like, "I think God is everything." He's like, "What the hell does that mean?" Like, God is you, God is me, God is the grass, God is everything. It's everything. It's a fucking squirrel. It's this chair. God lies in everything. And he's like, "That makes no sense. How could you think that? You're crazy." I'm like, oneness, the law of one. You and I are sitting across from each other, but we are one at the same time. It's like playing connect the dots. The line between the dots is what connects us. It's there. We are apart, but we're one. It's a contradiction, but still,
Well, it's
it's
not really
real.
contradictory, is it? Like,
It's just people listening to this that don't understand this. It is contradictory,
if you
but
remove the illusion of separation, there is
yeah,
no
yeah.
contradiction because to think
But
we
I
are
just want to.
separate is
It's
what you need to
fucking.
overcome.
I mean, with that line, we're not separate, but that line is what keeps us from being separate. And when you remove the line between the dots, then we are separate, I guess. But we're not. That's the truth. Like, you are in the United Kingdom, and I am in North Carolina. we are not separate. We're still one. It's like the internet analogy and the website analogy. There's different websites, but we all come from the same source, and we
Exactly.
are a part of that source. I'd say like uh, roll dirt around. Roll a diamond around in dirt. We're each of us are a speck of that dirt, and without all of us, there is none of us. Like we don't exist. I don't know how to say it
I guess a
properly.
way to portray it would be if you think
This
of
analogy
light.
is difficult.
If you think of light and it's, that one static white light color, and that white light contains every color. And
Mm-hmm.
if you stick a prism and you enter in white light and all the different colors come out, are
Like Pink
those
Floyd.
are those
That's what
different
I think of.
colors separate from the light that it was? No, they're not. What they are is different expressions of one light. And if you think of the source as this one light, and you think of it going through some huge prism and just an infinite amount of expressions coming out through this prism, breaking up this one light, but keeping it all the same light. It's never left. It's never not been light. It's just one expression of light, and we all hold the potential because we are all the light to go back to, well, not even go back to, but become this white light, and then enter our white light through a prism, and an infinite expressions of us comes through. We all hold the
Mm-hmm.
potential to become the plant to many seeds, like we were once the seed from the plant, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We have the full potential of what we've come from, and we're still what we've come from at the exact same time. It's kind of
That's a weird
paradoxical,
thought.
but
Uh, is it weird that like what you just said and what me and my friend talked about last night is the exact same concept or thought train? Like that, I don't know. It kind of blew my mind because last night we were talking about. He was like, "What are we? Who are we as humans?" I said, "We are the manifestation of everything that every human on Earth has thought of in the preceding this exact moment." He didn't say anything to that.
but
He
yeah,
said, "My mind is blown," and I'm like, "Okay." And me and dude just we didn't talk about the law of attraction because wait, have we?
yeah.
We talked about we
I think
did.
we have once before.
But the law of attraction, my friend, take that shit seriously
Synchronicity,
because synchronicity is real.
too real.
Don't try to understand why something happened, but just understand that it's a reason. Like, unless it's an obvious reason,
Yeah,
then it's obvious. But if it's not, you will likely not find the concrete truth of why something happened.
it's trying to
That's
understand
how I
the
see it.
nature of everything.
It's just impossible, man. It's beyond human comprehension, man.
What was
You
it
can't
that
comprehend that.
Carl Sagan said? He said, to do something, you first must understand how everything was created. That quote. I
Yeah,
don't remember what the actual quote is, but
something like that.
you have
Something
to
along those lines.
you would have to understand absolutely everything to understand anything, kind of thing. Like,
Hmm.
trying to figure out why we're here is like trying to figure out, well, no, trying to figure out why we're here without first understanding how we're here is like trying to figure out why fire, is real when we don't okay, nah, fuck that analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
trying to understand our purpose or why something's happened to us is the exact same thing as trying to understand how we got here in the first place. There's if you keep looking at it from a secular vision, if you keep looking at it through a window without understanding what that window is a part of. You're never going to get the full comprehension of it. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
know where to speculate, because a lot of the time you're just going to come away with more questions anyway.
Mm. The questions will lead to answers that will lead to questions.
Exactly.
It's fucked up, man.
Unless you're
The more
willing to just go to the very depths of it all, it's not even worth
I'm
beginning to try and comprehend.
I'm reluctant to that because I just know that I'll never really learn. Then people are in the school system where I live. People are told the truth, and they actually think like they're taught that it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like my friend and I, who got their GED, this chick who's so fucking ignorant. She's the dumbest piece of shit I've ever met. I know that's cruel talk, but she is such a piece of shit. Like she literally said these exact words. Oh, just because you got your GED, that makes me smarter than you.
Oh.
And I'm
Okay
like,
then.
are you really kidding me? Actually, the GED test is more difficult than the SAT
Yeah.
because it's like 4 different tests now,
Shit.
but there's 6 different tests before like the year 2014 now. So give me a fucking break. And she told me, she was like, you'd be smarter if you actually tried. And I was like, wow, you're good at math. Congrats.
Clap.
That shit doesn't matter. I was like, please talk to me about religion or about esoteric philosophies or any of that shit, and I will blow your mind away, or you won't even take it seriously because you just have that preconception about something you have that you know nothing about. Come on, like eat a fucking dick. I hate you. I'm mad at her. I do not like her.
I think
God, it pisses me off so fucking much. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm still drunk from last night, but that really pisses me off. Like, how would you feel about that if you you could have got a GED or something. I wouldn't know, you know?
yeah.
Like the smartest person could have their GED. Like I know a chick who had a PhD who got her GED before the PhD.
I think a lot of people kind of
Pisses me off so much.
they don't really they think that the maths that they learn in the classroom is applicable to actual maths. Like mathematics is kind of like the answers to the universe in a static form, but
Yeah.
not in the maths that we're taught. You know, like algebra is not that useful. Calculus not that useful. It's like
Geometry useful.
that's fucking useful, but it's like knowing the true
I was always good at
mathematics.
fucking geometry. I sucked at algebra. Algebra is so fucking pointless. And people that are good at algebra, they're like, "Oh, I'm so smart. I can understand algebra." I'm like, "Algebra's bullshit. Tell me when you will use that one time in your life."
The only reason I can think
Like,
of
come on.
algebra, like actually using algebra, is it's kind of like a computer. You know you set a variable and you set a value for it, and it's you know that variable is never gonna change. So instead of writing out the number all the time, you just write out a letter or whatever. But like in real world modern application, I don't really see it used like ever, other than like quantum theorists and shit like that. You know, the people who are
Mm,
actually using it almost like a computer would use it, just to have a set value. So I think maths
shit.
itself is actually fairly misunderstood when it comes to education anyway. So I don't stress it.
Yeah. I never stressed math. I was always into more English and the vocab and all of that.
I like Brighton too much.
I feel you, man. Like, literature is more important to me than algebraic equations and knowing about mathematics because it's just insignificant to me. I mean, I'm interested in astrophysics, but come on, like, I want to write a book. I'm going to write a book. It's going to be mind blowing, hopefully. But I'm scared. I feel some trepidation about writing this book because I feel like it could get me in trouble.
Yeah.
Because like it will be fiction, but yeah, just I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna do it. And yeah,
Yeah.
But come on, like just because you're not good at one subject doesn't mean you're fucking stupid. Like that's it. People deem it as like
That's a
say
stupid assumption.
that's a lot of people do that though. Like, oh, I'm really good at math, and you're not. That means you're stupid. But no, fuck you. Fuck off. Like you don't think for yourself. You've never had the You've had the ability to form your own opinion, but you haven't. You haven't taken that opportunity. You just rather have people tell you what's right and what's wrong. Like your parents, they tell you this is what's right, this is what's wrong. Oh, whatever. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just trying to be honest. And to be
Vent some
honest,
frustration.
like the polarity consciousness has risen and it's been prominent in our lives since birth for most of us. We've been taught there is no gray area. There is a gray area, but it's vague and it's really tiny. But life is gray for you. At least I'm assuming from the conversations we've had, life is gray for you.
Exactly.
Most of it. I'm not trying to say it is. I'm just assuming, like I said.
No,
And
it is.
people will get mad about things I normally would get mad about them, but I'm glad I unplugged myself from the shitty reality and have tuned into my own frequency and risen that like through meditation and psychedelic experiences. So
It's a
the polarity,
detachment process.
yeah, it really is. The polarity is evanescent and it's just fading away rapidly. It has been forever. I'm still not completely detached from the polarity,
I'm
but
not sure we ever will be.
most of it is just a memory of a
Exactly.
worst time of my life. I remember when thinking any situation had to be good or bad, and it just can't be. I don't really give a shit. And now that's what it is, and I love it. It's just the greatest thing ever.
I think when people hear that, they tend to think like, because we think like that, then we must not enjoy life. But it's the opposite. Like I
Yeah,
fucking love the experiences all the more because because they're so neutral. Because they're meant to be happening, and that's what I love about life. It's like everything that I'm experiencing was meant to happen. It's
yeah.
all building me, and just because I don't see the situation as good or bad doesn't mean that I don't fucking love it all the more.
In my opinion, there's some cosmic plan to everything, and that gives me a reason to figure out what that plan is, whether it's the truth or not. I don't know. I really don't. I
I
don't know
think there is.
shit. I think there is, but I don't know there is a cosmic plan to
Yeah, I mean,
it.
I guess that's something that we'll eventually find out regardless. So,
Yeah, that's something you learn after you fucking die, or you after you rebirth into the next life as a soul. But
so
come on,
yeah.
man, you can't think you can't believe that your truth is the truth. Your truth is just another truth, and
It's a
there's this lit.
conception.
Yeah, it's a conception. It's a concept. It's just an abstract. It's not concrete. Like you can't say anybody's right or wrong. You can just like in their own perspective, they're right, and if your perspective differentiates from their perspective, you'll think that they're wrong. But you can't think that your truth is the truth. You gotta think that it's just another truth. There's a plethora of truths, and you can't take one truth as the truth. You just gotta think of it as just a concept, man. Like, I don't know. It's just bullshit. People think, oh, I know the truth. I'm like, you don't know the truth. I don't know the truth. Nobody knows the truth. We're either all right or we're all wrong. There's no in between. I know that's a polarity again, but come on, like, or we're all wrong. All of us are wrong. That's even better perspective to retain.
I go beyond it. I just say it is.
Yeah.
There's no need to either say it's right or wrong. Like, just
God damn it! You have no idea the shit how fucking polarized it is here.
I feel you.
Polarized it is here, man. Like, it's bullshit.
People fighting over things that cannot be proven, cannot be fully explained or comprehended by the person they're trying to defend it to. It's just like, chill. Like, your
Yeah.
truth is an ever evolving concept. There's nothing more to be said about it. Like, it is exactly that. It's your truth.
Like, if you were in my opinion, atheist extremists are just as dumb as religious extremists, like Christian extremists. That's the fucking truth, like, without a doubt. They're fighting the same thing, just different labels and terminology. Like, come on, man.
I feel you.
If you were an atheist extremist and I were a Christian, like a Southern Baptist extremist, like, that took it way too far. Here, I literally saw someone in that same scenario punch somebody over that, like, not believing in God. I'm not even joking.
Damn, man.
It was the most retarded thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? Why would you do such a thing? Like, if you don't, if you have a Bible verse tatted on you, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. That's your truth. That's not the truth, but it's your truth. And your truth is not concrete. And that's where polarity consciousness is evanescent. Like, the whole I'm right and you're wrong is just some ignorant ego battle that has been going on for thousands of years. Like, you're not right, I'm not right, but we're all right at the same time, you know?
Just gotta go beyond it. Like, that's
Yeah.
it's the only way to kind of establish that piece is to just not identify with the right and wrong, really. And I
It's
think a lot of people miss that, and they kind of see, if you say everyone's right, then it's a polarity, and a polarity has to have the other end of the spectrum, so everyone can't be right. If you get what I mean, so
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I try to say, like, everyone's right,
and everyone's wrong.
but yeah, the same exact time, everyone's right and everyone's wrong. But, like, that's contradictory, and I was like, that's what life is, a fucking contradiction.
Life is a paradox.
It really is. Life is a fucking paradox. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it's a paradox, but I don't know, man. I don't know the answers. You don't, like, we have our own answers, you know?
That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Like, taking other people's answers, putting into your own perspective, putting into your own understanding, creating your answers from it. That's what life is. Like, it's just a compilation of speculation.
Damn, yeah, I know what you're saying, bro. Like,
So,
that's why I think Christ consciousness comes into play there, bro. Like,
yeah,
Christ consciousness is climbing above the point of polarity consciousness, bro. Like, you don't need the polarity to exist and to live. You are here. You are one with everything else that is. So, if you want to appeal everybody just be yourself and encourage them to be themselves without the polarity. And if they have the polarity consciousness, don't think that. Encourage people to realize that their truth is not the truth, but it's just another truth. It's just another abstract. It's not concrete. Like that's how I feel about it. I don't know if other people do. I know you know where I'm coming from, but
yeah,
it's just, come on, man. Like, I'm not fearful to. I'm not frightened to admit that I don't know shit. Like, I know shit, but I don't know shit.
it's a humbling experience to admit that you don't know anything really, because
Yeah,
it just leaves you open to learning more.
it really does, man. It's just, but that's so rare to find somebody who actually knows the same shit, who actually is conscious of that truth, and that is the truth, in my opinion. That's
Yeah,
how I would say. Like, I don't know, man. Like, life is so complex but so simple at the same time. It's just one big paradox that we're all experiencing, and the sad part is, like you said earlier, you mentioned the law of attraction, right?
yeah,
Well, at least where I live, and I'm sure there's people that you're surrounded by daily with revelations. The whole, remember what you were talking about the other day about the volcanic eruption
oh yeah,
and
Yellowstone.
the red moon and all that.
Yeah.
People actually believe that, so that will happen just because of the belief, and they think that's right. But fuck that. That
Yeah,
is fucking frightening, man.
it's a belief that creates reality, really.
Yeah, and I feel like Revelations was added by the Freemasons, that whole chapter. But that's just another example of the polarity, right and wrong, truth or false. Who knows, man? I don't know. I really don't. But I guess we're gonna wrap this up now.
Yeah. It's a good note to leave on. We simply do not know.
Yeah. I don't know shit. I know shit, but I don't know shit. What I
Exactly.
know isn't the truth. It's a truth, not the truth. But
So,
next time
yeah.
we will have Echo on again, and we will be talking. We will be speaking on a topic that you've been waiting for.
I think we're going to be speaking on a range of topics, but regardless of what we speak on, like, people are going to enjoy it. For sure.
Extraterrestrials.
Aliens, motherfucker.
We're gonna talk about that, and I got some shit to say, bro. That's abductions. I had my own abduction experience. And once again, the polarity, I don't think it was wrong, but I definitely don't think it was right for what happened to me. But yeah.
Okay, so, tune in next time. And we hope you enjoyed this podcast. We appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
Lots of love and light.
Namaste, motherfuckers.
Namaste.
We love you.